Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, my friends. I am Cynthia, and this is Azalea.
Hi.
This is Marty.
What's the name?
Yes. Hello, my friends. So today I thought we would do a little bit on earrings. I've got a pair on I made during a live that I did. I don't remember. This is part of a kit. This was that blue and lapis kit. Remember that one? It was like a blue. If I said blue and orange, you guys would be like, well, which one?
I
You
know.
guys know I like blue and orange. It's one of my favorites. So today I spent the afternoon with my friends at Turgua Brewery, and that was pretty fun. It was fun to hang out, but I didn't make any money, so that was
Less fun.
not as fun. But it was a beautiful day, and it was next to a creek. And I mean, sometimes, so I set up at a brewery. I don't know if y'all ever been to a market where that's held at a brewery, but it's like a thing they do in Asheville. And I don't know if it's because there's a lot of parking or space or whatever, but I don't know. I did the Sierra Nevada. I set up in front of there. Where did we set up that one year where you weren't into it? You remember that? It
I
was like,
think it was that.
oh, Sierra.
It was on my birthday.
It was on Azalea's birthday. I made her help me. And Azalea actually did okay. That's when she used to sell string dolls. And since then, I have been resistant to do breweries. And I just, I don't know if it's other people seem to do pretty good. Joanne was my neighbor, and Joanne did pretty well. She had her bags. She makes these lovely bags and pouches and hats and things. And man, my stuff was blown around all day long. And it was just it was pretty good. I had my like in my lap and on that when I had it cut, it just weren't very many customers because I think one other thing was people don't tend to go early in the day, and it was early, like noon to almost it was like 5. But yeah, I had paper dolls set up. What did I have set up? I had some rings, I didn't bring all my necklaces. I didn't bring these. We left them on the table. I have this tea thing that holds them all. And I just left it. Sometimes I leave things on the table. It's not a show if I'm not leaving something. If I don't leave like my business cards or the till or something like that, then it is not a show. It is something else. Because I was 100%, even if I prepared the whole night before, I'm always leaving something. So that's just kind of how it is. So last Wednesday, I showed some, like, on the stringing days, I had this, like, digging around, and I found this. This is how they sent it to you, like, deconstructed. And I did earrings on these, and so all week for 3 days. I was thinking about earrings, and so I dug out some things we picked out at Tucson that I was thinking about keeping, which I don't want to sound greedy, like I keep a ton of the stuff that I buy, but um, I'm a tiny bit greedy with that, and I kept a bunch, and I've been sitting on it. I didn't do anything with it. It was just collecting, and so while I had time today, I divided it up and made sets. And y'all seem to I did some mini sets where it's kind of like a snap of a bead instead of like a big spoonful. It's kind of like a taste test so you can see if you like it or not. And if you do, then I can hunt down more. But one of the things that I like to do is I like to try to find things as unique as possible because, as we know, there are a lot of people that make jewelry. There's a lot of people that make jewelry. And even though it's like there's a lot of painters and they all, basically use the same colors of paint, sometimes it's in texture and sometimes it's in sparkle level. And if you don't have a good variety to work with, it can be kind of a drag. Well, not a drag. I don't want to say it's a drag, but maybe less fun. Is it less fun? I don't know. I want to monochrome out of face. Well, sometimes I do it to myself. And if you ever have a creativity block, the best way to do it is go limited palette and limited supplies. Go with the least amount of stuff you can get away with, and then you're gonna see how creative you get when you're like, okay, so I don't have whatever it is your fallback be. Say you're like briolet crazy. You don't have any briolets, then you'll find a way. And I have some earrings I'm gonna show you my personal collection. And I found, I was like, for my personal collection, boy, howdy, do I have a lot of earrings. And I tend to keep them in little boxes, so I'm kind of unaware of how many I have. And, I don't usually sell earrings, but I buy. Not weird. And I don't know why that is. But I'll sell them on the internet. And I'll sell them to my friends. And usually it's like custom, and people will message me and say, hey, you have any more of whatever earring that you're, you know, that you're going with. So anyway, let me flip this camera around. Hello, my friends. I see there's 21 people, but I don't see any. Is there something up with my? Like, I don't see any of the people.
Oh, no comments?
No comments, not one yet. So if y'all are out there, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me know if the stream is good. If there's any issues, so I can tell what's going on. All right. So give me a heads up. Or you just say hi, and if you where you're hailing from. We are streaming right now from Asheville, North Carolina. Beautiful day in the mountains. All right, my friends. Oh, is always in the handbook forms.
I have no idea why it's not showing you comments. I don't know if anybody. I'm sure somebody would have commented by now, and if it's not showing us, then let me see.
I
But
think if
there's people probably commenting. They would have seen it by now.
Sure.
I don't have anything on mine. I have to go downstairs and go find something. But my iPad, I don't have it. Maybe we can refresh.
Well, if you refresh, then we lose the stream.
Did we?
Let's try it and see. I see a message. There's one from. Okay, so Wendy told me that I just saw a text is on my phone, and she says it's like static. So what does that mean? Check all of our.
There's a sound. There it is.
Oh,
Hi, static sound. Static sound. Could it be the fan?
try it. Get rid of that.
We have a comment coming in now.
Melanie says now you were clear.
Okay, well, that was
Let's
weird.
see. Sounds good now. I wonder what that's up. What's that story with?
What happened?
Sound is better. Interesting.
Yeah, we didn't see anybody's comments.
Now all the comments are coming in. So wonderful. Yes, thank y'all for helping us with that. Wendy says much better. Thanks, Wendy. Let's see that. I don't know what was up with that. Oh, good. Everybody says sound. I'm getting the comments saying the sound is good. Hello, my friends. Hello, Cecilia. Hello, Anne. Hello, Wendy. Carolyn. Hello, Jeanette. Hello, my friend. I see Tina joining us. Virginia, Linda, Sandy. Hello, Nancy. Yeah, thanks, guys, for letting us know. I can't hear it from another. If there's something making a noise, sometimes I get you get used to the sound.
It might have just needed to be refreshed.
It could have been that. And remember, sometimes we're up in the attic, and even though we are streaming directly, are we directly into the router again?
Yeah, our internet could be like just the house internet Wi-Fi could be slow sometimes to affect the stream.
Oh, Bonnie. Hello, Bonnie. Melanie says you were coming in really staticky. I don't know what that's from. I have no idea. And it's kind of, it's one of those things where even though I've been doing this a while, at least 4 years, I can't hear what y'all are hearing. So sometimes if there's interference of any kind, I have to find out from y'all. So thank you for letting me know. And let's get busy. I've already been on for 9 minutes. So I was staticky for 9 minutes. Man. All right, I'm going to flip this around. Oh, my friend Donna. Donna says, I'm making dichro beads today while I listen, watch. I love your dichro beads, Donna. Again, drop your link in there and share the goodness. Share that goodness. My friend Donna Conklin makes beautiful glass beads and other things. Donna does a bunch of stuff, but I mainly buy her beads. Donna, I mean, I remember seeing you make candles. I'm seeing all kinds. Oh, Angela says, hello, hey everyone, been looking forward to this. Hope no tech difficulties. Love the show. Thank you, Angela. Yeah, oh, so Melanie says the refresh helped. Azalea totally refreshed it. And I think that was a good. Wendy says the minute you switched and refreshed Azalea, it was immediately gone.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, well, that's good. And so sometimes you don't know what's happening until y'all let me know. All right, I'm going to move this over. So, first thing, I was going to move my stuff downstairs where it was a little bit cooler. And I was like, it's not that hot here, so we'll see how long I can take it. It wasn't, I mean, it was like in the 70s all day today, so not too bad. All right. My notes. Does anyone else make a million notes? I do. I make a million notes. All right. 90s. Ugh. Carolyn says, I can see Marty's being a charmer, waiting for his dessert. He is. All right. So let's just see what's been happening. I'm going to show you guys this in a second. This is what I worked on. This is the sea dragon. I tidied up a little bit in this area. And the face needs more work, but it's getting there. So a lot of times when I'm doing the wax master of a piece, so this is carved out of jeweler's wax, which is a kind of a plasticky wax that is pretty, it's very flexible, and you can get very fine details. So that's why I use this. You can use a lot of things to make your jewelry masters, but wax is the best, I feel. And this is, so we did this on Wednesday. Do you remember carving this out? So that's what we did on Wednesday. We worked on this. And I went in and did a little bit more. And so you can see she's kind of holding something. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put in a little seal pup in her arms. Isn't that cute? So she's got a little hair. I debated with myself whether to put the tail in the front or in the back, so that's like this. So if you use it, so anyway, I made that to be like this necklace I've been using a lot. Donna says laser engraving, machine embroidery, candles, copper enameling, lampwork beads. I was going to say, I remember you doing candles and all kind of stuff. I don't remember seeing you were laser engraving. Although I love your packaging and I use your I recycle it by reusing it. Okay, so this is a necklace I recently made, and this as a new button. So I really liked how this came out because it has kind of a more sculptural feel, and I love it when I can make something where there isn't an obvious like bail or shank or something. And so it's kind of disguised here by using the tail. And so you can see when you flip it, like that's one side. And then there's the face. And then the back side, you get the feet and the hands. So this worked well for me. So if something works well, I'm going to do it again. So that's what this is. And I think, let me see how this is going to look. We'll just take a look. Let's just sample it and see. Actually, let me find something with a little more contrast because you're not going to be able to see it. Oh, well, here, the necklace will be perfect. We've got this blue and green necklace that I'm working on, but wouldn't this be perfect? Ooh, I don't know what they make. Look at this cup. Look at this. This is so random. Look at this. Why would you make a cup like this? That's how narrow that bottom is. There's nothing on the bottom but rubber. but for some reason, it's like 1 inch wide. I don't know who designed that. All right, so check this out. I think it'll be good. Okay, we'll go through one side. So this is how I test my stuff too, to see how it's going to look. Now, if I find that it looks too big, then I can easily shave it down. I made her tail a little bit more, a little thicker. This is a little bit thicker than the salamander, so it might cost more in silver or other fancy metal, but pretty much the same in pewter. Wendy says, hey, quick question. Did you guys ever send out invoices for that little lot sale last Sunday, the cute purple and green ones?
Yes, but
Yes.
you have not received your invoice. I'll look into that for you after the live.
Thank you, Azalea. All right, so let's see how this looks. See how that will be right there? The cord. I think this will be a good one. If you can picture it. And this, imagine if I had some pearls, some little pearls to go with that. That way, when the clasp goes to the front, or if you turn it that way, say you want this part of your necklace showing, it's a nice looking clasp and kind of a pendant, really. So that's the back. Do you feel like is there any opinion on that? Do you think it's better if the tail, the fin part, is reversed so that it's there, so it's obviously a mermaid? Or I can texture this. Azalea said I should texture. Her thing, she said, was I should do these bumps just like a lump sucker fish. That's actually a real life fish. And you can see that it has a kind of a different texture. I actually have the skin of a lump sucker fish. It must have been a great big one. I don't know why I bought it. It was at Beach Fest last year. And it's a pretty cool thing. Grab it, Azalea. See, it's gray right there. I bought it for photo, as a photo background, that gray.
I did not know it would be that big. That's stressful. I thought that what you were showing me, those pictures, they were like this big.
They are that big, but they can get, apparently, I didn't know this.
Lord have
This is a lump sucker skin. And this is, look, it's got this, I got this at Beach Fest, and this gal had all this different wacky leather, like all different kinds. Carolyn says, I didn't get an invoice from that Sunday either.
What? Okay. I'll check on yours too. I'll check on everybody's because I had gotten it the last time we done it. We did a lot of sale. People asking me for some reason I had sent them, but I don't know why they didn't go in. So let me just check on that later.
It has these little, they're like it's almost like a rose thorn. See how it has that texture? It's like a rose thorn, but they're not sharp. I mean, it's a little bit sharp, but anyway, I thought it'd make a good photo background, but it turns out it's too much. I think it's really too busy, I didn't think it would be, but it kind of is. All right, so that's my newest on the wax. This is almost done. I just feel like I have only a couple hours worth more, like texturing the face, or making the face nicer, putting in a little seal. And I don't know if I'm going to do a tail in the front. Does anyone think that is good, or the way it is, or do you think I should put the fins in the front? If you want to weigh in on that. See, the reason I'm asking is if you were to sew this down, then you would very rarely see this spot. So I know several people are knitters, and if you were to use that for like a knit sweater or something, I just remember. Anyway. All right, here's some of the earrings that I've made. Actually, I didn't make these. This was, a friend of mine made these. Let me show some of these earrings, just for inspiration. Okay, so this is a good use of rondelles. Say you have rondelles and you're like, what am I going to do with them? Look what my friend did. She stacked them. There's 2 on there. Isn't that cute? It's kind of a So if they're too flat, to get a thicker look, they are stacked. Wendy says fins in front. I'm talking about like if this tail fin, should that be in the front? Wendy says that blue color is beautiful on those earrings. That's why I picked them out. It's a kind of an appetite. They're not particularly high quality, but it turns out if you put them on gold fill, because these aren't gold, but they're like gold fill, that it elevates it. And it actually does. It does look good. But these are like, they're not super great, high quality appetite. I don't know what happened to the other one. It was over here, but. Oh, and so here's another thing I was talking about when you don't have the bead of choice that you want. Connie says, yes, fin in front. You know, Connie, I suspected I should do that, but I didn't. So I'm glad to have that feedback. I wonder if anyone else has any thoughts on that. All right, so check this out. So I made these at a show a long time ago, and I did not have I didn't have the right wire. All I had was head pins. So what do you do if you don't have, and they were too short to wrap to make a normal briolette. So I did this. And I feel like it looks pretty good. You know? Cecilia says in front. I wondered. So see how that's a head pin, but it's going this way. And so it makes the earring where they're flakes, but usually you would string them like this. You know what I mean? Like they would be like that. This is kind of off center. And it's a good use of these pearls, I feel like. They kind of stick out a little bit, so it's good. So that's one way to do it. And I made them in a couple of different colorways. Oh, look at this. This is my friend Laura Belkin made these. Laura, do you remember making these for me? Laura has some fine skills making earrings. Some very fine skills. Look at that. Aren't those really pretty? So this is a wire wrapped jump ring. The jump ring's in the middle. And the pearls are done after the fact. Aren't those just gorgeous? It's a good use. And a good use of a spacer. So the spacer, usually people sandwich them and make a pattern, but that's a good use. It breaks up and imitates that shape right in here. So you get that flower and then you get a little bit of it right here. It's a little extra detail. Kay says in front is good. So I'm going to move it because I see the comments and I'm going to do that. So this is an earring I make all the time. Not all the time. I haven't made these in a minute. Maybe last year I had them. So I was using little star cut because they fit. They had a great big hole and they fit on these ear wires. I could bend those on there. So let's see how that goes. It's an easy pair. My favorite in here. So this is the most expensive earring. Actually, these two. Let's show the most expensive earrings. I'm gonna first show this. So this is another way. This is with a gray color. And putting pearls on, stacking them up, you get a little bit of a texture. So these, I call them cluster earrings. And they are very, there's no rhyme or reason. I just cluster them in there. And the way you do it is you take your jump rings, stack them, make your jump rings first, stack them together, and then just add a bunch of head pins with beads. And so it doesn't really matter if, usually this would be like this and you would have the pin coming from this direction. But if you don't have it, use what you have. And in this case, I had head pins. And so that's what I did. So that's another head pin earring type thing. All right, where's the match to that? That goes with this one. So this has the red. Oh, thank you, my friends. Carolyn says cute earrings. All right, so I'm going to show you the most expensive ones. My friend Laura made these for me, and I don't remember if I've shown these before, but they are my wedding earrings. So these are gold hooks. You can see, what does it say? You can see it. It's so small. It has a stamp here. I can't read what it says. But I think that these are, I bought a bunch of 14K, or maybe they're 18. That looks like 14 to me. Carolyn says jump ring size. I think these are 8 mil. That looks like 8 mil to me. You hear that big thump? That's my cat. He jumped down. And these are opals and stick pearls. And these are sapphires right here. This is gold wire that I'm using. And these little, that look like the same color as rubber cement, these cubes, these are rough diamonds. So that's opal and rough diamonds. These were, to make them was pretty expensive just for this part right here. But the strand of these diamonds, that was not a cheap date. Let me just tell you that right now. Very expensive on that. These weren't quite as expensive. Actually, I'll take that back. So this right here, does anyone want to guess what this is at the bottom? These drops here. Any guesses on this? Anyone know what this is at the bottom? And if before anyone says smoky quartz, they're not smoky quartz at the bottom. What is smoky quartz is these right at the top. So these are gold wires and this is gold wire. And these are rainbow sapphires. This was part of a necklace. This was part of the necklace that was stolen. Melanie says Alexandrite. No, not Alexandrite. Here, get a closer look. Maybe with that sparkle, you could tell. These are actually champagne diamonds. For this, I don't remember how much I paid, but they were not a cheap date. I bought them as a pair, and they are clear. You can see the color on them. They're beautiful. So this is a sapphire. It's funny I put these on there. They don't really go with it. I wonder if I should do that. Wendy says yellow diamonds, champagne diamonds. That's what they are, champagne diamonds. Kunzite. No, Cecilia, not kunzite. Wendy, you were close. Yellow diamond, champagne diamond. Yeah, I have a fixation with champagne diamonds. So this pair of earrings was pretty expensive, but I love them. I wear them all the time. These are, let's see, anything else in that is good. Some of this is from like way back when. There's a gal, Donna might like these. Can't remember I went to a show and bought these at Lewis's show. And there's a gal that was making teeny glass beads. They were the smallest glass beads I'd ever seen, like handmade. I mean, that went from like, I don't know. But aren't they cute? They're like teeny tiny. So cute. Itty bitty lamp work. Actually, I think it's borosilicate. They won't even the soda wine glass. So that's cute. All right, let's make some earrings. We're busy looking at these. Oh, this is a fun way too. I forgot about this. Wendy, someday I want chocolate diamonds. You and me both. I love chocolate diamonds. And the reason somebody told me, they said, what is the good of that? It just looks like smoky quartz. I'm like, girl, that is not smoky quartz. Look at the difference. There's no difference. I mean, there is a difference. Smoky quartz, the super high quality smoky quartz. But would you say that would compare? I mean, I put it because it was similar, but the diamond has what's called the hard sparkle. And see the difference of the sparkle? Soft sparkle, smoky quartz, or semi-precious. Because smoky quartz is like a 7 on the Mohs scale. This is a 10. Diamonds are a 10. Carolyn says, my grandma would say we have champagne taste and a penny pocketbook. I believe my grandma had a similar saying, but I can't think it right now. It'll come to me tonight when I'm about to go to sleep. This is labradorite and more tiny, tiny sapphires. I love them. And the reason I like them is they're kind of like, they have a beautiful sparkle that's just, I put the teeniest one right up there. So that's another one. I went through a phase where I used a lot of gold wire. And the reason I was doing this was because I had people asking me to do bridal jewelry. So I bought a bunch at Rio, and that's what I did with this, was bridal jewelry. And look at this. This is a good technique. So if you have these kind of hook earrings, the way you can keep them together is you can use a button and put them together like this and keep it tidy, a little bit more tidy. So you don't, if you don't want to do this number, you put them on there and keep them like this. And maybe even you could hang them, but that looks better, doesn't it? This is from Wild Things. You guys know Wild Things. I want to go there and see how they make them. These pressed glass buttons. All right. Annie G says the diamond is more clear and the smoky quartz is more smoky. LOL. That's ain't that the truth. Love the button tip. Good. I'm glad that's useful. Good to have something useful. What's this? Oh, at one point I got all these tiny earrings and I haven't sold them. I got at this estate sale. I bought this lady's whole jewelry collection, and I haven't gone through it all yet. Oh, this is an easy earring too. And you know what? I made this and then I just wore it just like that. This is carnelian. And I've been looking for carnelian like this color for like 1,000 years. And that was the last time was this. They have almost like they're translucent, but it's a more of a red carnelian. And I planned on putting a pendant, but I ended up just leaving it. I just loved it the way it is. All right, I'm gonna put these back in the box. All right, so I have a bunch of these, and I used to sell kits in them, and now I'm gonna find something bigger that holds them all. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh, while I'm doing this, while I'm gonna show this demo, I'm gonna put out some of my lots that I have from my trip. So I went to Tucson. When did we go to Tucson, my dear?
Late
January. Oh, does this have a thing, honey?
That's okay. Do you want me tagging there?
Oh, here it is. Okay, so I dug up. Remember I was talking about orange kyanite? Where'd that piece of orange kyanite go? On this table. I can find it over here. It's not always the way when you're like, where is this? And then as soon as you don't need it, then you find it. At least that's how it has been for me. And that was all this morning. Like I kept misplacing. Greg was getting so irritated because I kept saying, "Can you go get me?" Because that Turgle Brewery is like right down the road from where we live. I was like, "Can you go?" It's just like, no. Okay, yes. All right. So this is rainbow sapphires. Look at the size of these. This is good. Anyway, I broke this down. So if you want some of these, you can message me here, GreenGirlStudios at Yahoo. If you're watching on replay, you can go to our website and hit the, I don't know what the contact, and that will take you to Azalea. So I have some of these. These are rainbow sapphires. I made them into like little snack packs. I went through and made sure everybody got the same, like enough of the same kind. So these are not all the same size. It's a mixed size. And these would make fantastic earrings. So I have 18 of them. I broke this one strand. I bought a long strand, and I was able to I put this in there so it wasn't $50 for the amount. So if you want any of these sapphires, it's $18. It's a super good purchase. These were a great buy. A very good buy. I was really happy that I got those. And I was going to make more of that kind of earring I was showing you, like the sapphires. Okay, so this is the orange kyanite right here that I was talking about. I only have one strand, And so this, I put this together. This is $14 and you get two and silver. So this was probably one of the most expensive things that I got. They look like, well, they don't look quite like anything else. I mean, sunstone is similar, but it doesn't, the thing that makes it interesting is that it's orange kyanite and it's just unusual. And usually it's one of those things you'll see at like, oh, I don't know, maybe one or two cuts on a table, but it's not one that you see a lot of. Partly because it's rare. It's not one that you see all the time because it's not readily available. So that's this little kit. It's $5.44. It's amber light, but it has the difference is that there is like glitter inside. Similar to when you get imperial kyanite. When you look at imperial kyanite, you get a shimmer, and that's the difference. Is these have like the color is really outstanding. So these were not inexpensive at all. So I'm breaking them up into pairs just because, and I managed to get them where they're like nicely. I tried to match them as close as I could. So really all you have to do is get a head pin and make earrings for $14. These are silver and orange kyanite. It's super difficult to source. And what I did was he had like 3 or 4 strands at the table. I went through there and high graded them. And to high grade them, you look at them and to see like what one has like the best color and the best shape. Because sometimes, it's just like anything, like a cut of meat, can be like, there's a good part and then there's some that's like less good. All right, so I'm going to show these things first and then we'll make some so that I can use these and then we can move on with it. I know, $18 for rainbow sapphires. I know, come on now. This is chalcedony. I love these. I want to keep them all. This is not on the screen. I'm looking at it. It looks like opaline, but it's I guess a better color would be like you can kind of see it. So this is some flat little carved pumpkins. I have 10 sets of this chalcedony. They're $10. Couldn't hardly believe it. So I've seen them before, and they were a little bit more, but the quality wasn't as good. But the color was good, but the cut was like not great. So these have a nice shape. And the hole looks like it's pretty well drilled. So it looks like it's this is fishing line through here. So this is $5.42, it's $10. And it was good because this was a mega strand. This was a big strand, so I was happy about that story. So I'm gonna set these here, and while I'm making some earrings, because I'm gonna use these, we will have these running at the top if you want them. I know. Can you even believe that? $10. It's like, I don't know. And then look, 2, 4, 6, 8. So you can get 4 pairs of earrings out of $10. Can't even believe it. All right. So this is another type of chalcedony. I think these are treated though, because I don't think this comes naturally this color. So I think they did something to it to get that color. I cracked one and it goes all the way through. So however it is treated, it's solid. Let's see. They look to me like Peruvian opal. All right, so this is lot 545. You get 2, 4, 6, 8. This is 545. $22. They're carved pumpkins in chalcedony. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a treasure necklace. That's my intention for these. I set myself one of these, and I'm going to make some treasure necklace. Like, I love how they glow in there. One of my favorite things, I usually love transparent beads, but my second favorite is a translucent. So it's kind of jelly-like. These are very jelly-like. $22. That's good. Oh, Wendy says those will be super pretty with my opal. I'm getting ready to show what I'm going to do with them. They make great earrings. I mean, if you have dark hair, this will glow. Well, actually, what would be really pretty is like with a strawberry blonde. That color against that color of hair. Gorgeous. All right, so here's another chalcedony. This one I believe is dyed, but I didn't care. I didn't care at all. When he was like, I think these are dyed, I cracked one open to check it to see if it was like, because I don't like surface. If they're doing something, they say dyed, but I think that there is another way. Like all London blue topaz and different color topaz, all of it is naturally like a pale yellow. And when they put different varieties of heat on it, just like with glass, it changes the color. I mean, that's blue diamonds. Blue diamonds they heat them up and they get that color. And sometimes, that's what happens. It's like when you treat them, it goes all the way through. That's the color. It's not like inside is clear and the outside is green. The whole way is this color. It's like a sea foam, like an apple color. $8 though. You can't go wrong. I mean, you can make with this. This is a cheap date. I mean, that's I don't know. Generally speaking, I don't like anything to be dyed or treated. But if I'm being real, I love that Galaxy Tiger Eye with all my heart. I love it, even though it's a little tiny bit garish. This this is not, and it looks like something way more expensive. Like it reminds me of chrysoprase. This is not chrysoprase. If this were chrysoprase, this would be like $50 for that. But they're delightful. I mean, for $8, I mean, can't even get a sandwich. And these are pumpkin colored. You look at my favorite ones. Well, I like all of them, but what I did when I gathered these up is I put an equal amount from the strands. So if you wanted some that have the opaline look, these look like, to me, it looks like Dutch opalescence. Those glass beads, it looks just like them, but they're not. They're chalcedony, chalcedony. Yeah, Wendy, exactly. So easy. That's not even a hard one. I was gonna keep these, this, and this. See, because they weren't super expensive, so I didn't feel too guilty keeping them. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, so this is an interesting thing. So I put some of my collection, and I had a couple people message me about it because they wanted to know sometimes you can get. I don't want to say that there's a lot of people that will sell you the wrong thing, but sometimes you can get like it'll say it's silver, but it's actually plated. That's not very fun to get that story.
Happened with my mom.
It happened with Zellie's ring. So she
Said it was a mix of gold and silver, but it was actually just
gold
plated silver.
And there's really, there's no way you can really do it. There's nothing you can do about it. Once it's done, it's done. But I talked to my friend Ramsey and got these. So I also watched a video about this that my friend Ramsey took. And this is, let's see if you can see this. So these are individual. So I was like, I don't even know how they make this. So he showed me a video. So what happens is it's family business. This is from the Karen Hill tribe in Thailand. And he makes a journey about twice a year to pick this stuff up. And it's kind of a limited resource because when these guys stop making it, then the only ones they'll be making them will be like the plated stuff that's like doesn't even look this good. So what they do, and I'll tell you how to make it, it's insane. They drop, each bead is made by molten silver being dropped into a bucket, right? So depending on how far away you are and how controlled the level of the melted silver is being poured into the cold water, you get a little drop. And so what they have is a little, and when this silver is freshly like melted, it's very soft. So what happens is they take that and they showed the whole thing. They had an awl that was like a great big awl, but the handle was big, and they tap it once, pierce, flip it, and if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. Flip it, and then each one is hammered to make the facets. So what you're paying on this is the labor. So this is the labor of And he showed me the picture. His grandma does she strings them all. His grandma strings, and then the wife does the hammering. So there's actually like where the village that he goes to, like he was telling me that each one they specify the thing that they do. So this family makes these. Looks like that's what they do all day long, is this. And then there's another family that makes the other kind of drops. I have some that are different shapes. Let's see. So each kind is a different family, and I had no idea that's how they did it. Right? So these are all rolled tubes, right? It's completely different. And it's not the same people that make these. So they perfect this, and they can make, I mean, you would not believe how fast these guys were hammering that stuff. They were like lightning speed making them. And let's see, there's another one. I have my eye on some of these other pumpkin ones, but they're a little heavy, and so they cost a lot because you're not just paying for the weight of the silver. It's not just the weight of the silver, it's the Donna says, I have a 14-inch strand of those. I just like to play with them. I love them. Now, they're not a cheap date because they're labor intensive. So if you had to make all of it, if I had to make them, I would charge like $1,000 because it's so much work. Like if you look close at these, I'm trying to see if it's in focus. So these are rounds, and these have a tiny stamping on them. I'll break some of these up too and share them. I did not have I was busy today. I did all this stuff while I was at the market because I had plenty of time. But because there's not that many people showed up to this market. I think there's just too many things going on in Asheville today. But if you look very closely, there's tiny little stamp. So they're all a little bit different. These happen to be my favorite. Y'all know I use these like for going out of style. And I just love them, partly because of the rarity and just how beautiful. But they just, when they are on a necklace, it just elevates, I feel like, that's sometimes you can't really get some of the things. And I feel like someday you won't be able to get them. That's my thought, is that there'll come a time when these folks will not do this. Because one of the things is that when I was looking at the video, it was not a bunch of young people. It was all older people. So I was like, so what happens so are there many people, what's happening with the next generation? And he's like, well, I don't know. If they're going to do it, because there's obviously faster ways to make money anymore. So that's the thing. It's like anything, like it'll be around until it's not. It's like, I'll be making pewter beads until the day comes when I'm not making pewter beads anymore. Then it will be limited. All right. Thank you, Zoya. She made me tea before we started. All right, let's make some earrings. All right, my favorite way is head pins. You all know I love a head pin and love to make them that way. Oh, and these earrings, you've seen these before. Wendy says they don't have the patience. I don't know if it's patience, but a lot of times you won't make the money. You need to make a certain amount of money. Oh, Carolyn says, I saw you use those on a loop. Oh, yes. This is one of my all-time favorite ways to make a loop. And so here's one thing. So on this necklace, I used a little bit bigger. And sometimes I don't want that big one like this. I have several sizes. And you'll see what I like to do is I knot between each one. And that means that you don't have to use maybe 10 to stretch it out. Like you don't have to, you could actually get that going a little, you can stretch this out. All right, I'm going to find some more silver. I have some over here. Don't bother that cat.
He's hot. He's stretching out his legs.
He is hot. You guys should see him. I don't know if I could get it. He's like, his back legs are stretched out. His front legs are stretched out. He's like, it's hot up here, Ma.
Yeah, he keeps jumping up every few minutes to see if it's time for the second half of his churu.
He is so on fire for that.
He wants to eat it now.
And like, this is the same. This is more Hill Tribe, but a different shape. I collect it. Every time I see the Hill Tribe, I get a little bit of it. I have a little bit of a terror that there'll be a day when I can't get any more. I mean, it's everything is, I mean, essentially things are finite, Oh, I use this. Here's where, if you saw this, this is where I used it. This is a more rich and wasteful way. Like you're like, oh, I've plenty, I've so much. I'm just going to load it up. And you know what? I love this, but I did not finish this necklace. So this necklace would not be a cheap date with all that silver on there. There's a lot of silver. Think what I'm thinking here. Thinking. Actually, I'll just use some of these that are the similar size. I was looking in here to find the same thing. Yeah, I have several of that. And I'm going to get out later today. I'll get out some in different shape. So I'm going to use this. I'll show you one way to do it. I love using mixed materials. I have some half hard 25 gauge. It doesn't even have, if I had a thicker would be good. So I'm just going to kind of look at what I have here and see what's what. I'm kind of tempted. I want to make earrings out of this to see what they look like. But I don't know if I have time to do that. This would be the fastest ones in the world. For $14, you can get with the hooks and the orange kind. I had a sample sitting right over here to show the beauty, the glow of orange kyanite. Is it on my desk, Azoya? That big piece, I wanted to fill it. I feel like I showed it not too long ago. So glittery and delightful. There's just too much action on my desk. And it's precariously balanced. Take some of these off. Yeah, these make, so if you don't have, say you have a plain head pin. Did I bring all that stuff downstairs when I was making jewelry? I've done it already. So this is what I was talking about. Like, say you don't have what you're looking for and you got to do what you got to do. So I don't want to run up and down the stairs hunting for my stuff. So I'm just going to use some silver wire. This is half hard 26 gauge. That's plenty of room for these guys. So let's see. What am I going to make? Let's get some of these. I'm going to use those. Oh, maybe I will. Those are the small ones. I didn't put those. No one's getting these itty bitties unless they want them. There's some more of those sapphires, Wildar. I don't see any more.
Sapphires?
Yeah, they're like this.
I didn't know that you made extras.
There were some extras. They must be downstairs because I don't see them up here.
Okay, what else do you need downstairs?
I think that's it.
Are you sure? Think about it.
No, I'm not sure.
Because I don't want to run up and down because it's hot. Can't. You just need the sapphires. You find the other thing you need, like the headphones?
The whole container of headphones, I don't see.
So you do need that also. And red.
How many layers of projects are under your mat today? Listen, I have them stacked up on baker's trays. That's what I like to do with it. So with these, I would either do a simple or I would do this. Just like this. And maybe even one on each side. I'm just going to see how it looks. Sometimes I do this. I don't know about y'all, but I will look at it and see if I like the look. And then kind of compare it to what I have.
So I could do that kind of the little spacers, give a little bit of an like elevate the look as opposed to climb. And then maybe I can put a drop on the bottom. Let me see. Blue would be killer if I had a droplet of something blue like this at the bottom. Maybe this color would be pretty. Let's see what would be the one. No. 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 I think it's something, it needs to be something dark blue, like a dark cyanide. So what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and make a loop. So there are a bunch of different ways to do this. If you have a very good way, you can tell us about it. Tell us about that look. All right, so since this is very, would I close that? Yes. I just poked myself really hard. I don't usually do that. Well, I keep lifting my optivisors up to see the comments and then trying to look down as though I have like super eagle-eyed vision, which I do not.
I did not find your headpins. I have no idea where they are. But I grabbed these.
Oh, you're right.
You're getting wrong.
File lights. Yes. I'm gonna pop one of those guys on there. Where's the hole? Here it is. It's a great big hole on that. I can tilt that. It's not sticking out so far. You know, it'd be good is a little bit of a chain down there. Maybe some chain. Although if I was going to put chain, okay, so if you see something like now, I'm like, man, chain would be real good. It's not a big deal if I don't put it on there because I could always just add a jump ring. No big. Yeah, I think, yeah, highlight would be good. There's so many things. The best, of course, would be Imperial Kyanite would be like the ultra best lord. The ultra. So I got the colors downstairs too, because I was making jewelry down at the dining room table. With Joanne, we were making stuff the other day. It was pretty fun. You know, it's fun to have a crafting friend. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, you know, I spent many years crafting solo in my studio. And one of my favorite things now is to get a group and we just sit around and make, like, this thing is like getting on my nerve. I'm like, just sit still. And here's one. So this is really bendy. It's half hard. So sometimes I'll give it a little twist and another little twist. You want to do it too much because if you do it too much, you end up breaking it because it makes the metal brittle. Trying to pinch that little, I hate that when there's a little bit and I end up chasing it all around the head, the wire. Okay, so there's one, and we'll do this with it. I'll do it after. And I'm thinking, let me see. Oh, Wendy says, please say hello to Joanne. You know, Joanne's popular. I'm always like, I don't want to say I get jelly, but sometimes she's got so many friends. I'm like, man, you got everywhere she goes, she got friends. She's like, my friend here, my friend there. I was like, man, I thought I had a lot of friends. I do not have as many friends as Joanne Scott. She knows a ton of people. Those might be good. Oh, Karen says, my daughter sometimes hosts craft night with her crafty friends. You know, it's one of the joys of living. I will say, I never thought I'd hear myself say that, but I love to craft with other people. Good times. White, kind of bland. That's sapphire. Look at this one, that peachy one. Nope. I think I need something blue. That's when this bead smorgasbord will come in handy. Like I throw a lot of my little offshoots. And Wendy says, you have a ton of friends. You know what? I do have a ton of friends, but I have a ton of friends because I did shows. And when you do shows, you meet so many people. You can't help it. That's the way it is. You get set up next to folks and then they become your friends. And then your customers become your friends. It's a whole thing. Okay, I hope this isn't too crazy for y'all, too much activity. Personally, I feel right at home when there's a big jumbotron of a mess, even though in my mind I'm like, nah, that's easy. I'm trying to open this up so I can get some out. Tina has a message for you. Oh, and Azalea about something. Azalea, can you check on my order? I believe maybe you didn't have my address. It was May 5th. I think that's something you could check. All right, I'm going to go through here and see if I can scoop. I'm going to scoop. I need to find a blue bead. Let's dump these in here. So the reason this is in here is because all of these, I had them in a little like spaced out thing. They all dumped into a bottom of my bag, thankfully, and not on the floor. So I'm gonna see in here and see if there's anything blue that would suit. But it's all tiny blue. I see some small. I want much bigger. No, this isn't. That is not the way. See over here. You know what might be the way is this. Let's see if this works. Joanne has so many zipper pouches, Caroline. You just have to tell me what color. What an opal. Does that work? I don't know if that works. What do you think, Azalea? Does an opal work with that? I feel like I want blue. And of course, when I say that, then I'm not seeing any of my blue beads that I want to use with it. I don't think that works. I'm going to set that aside. But what will work? Oh, let's see these other clear sapphires. I don't know how they work with this palette. I package them up and then it's hard to. These brown ones might work. What is Donna? Donna says, I was a GreenGirlStudios fan and then I met Cynthia at a show in Hawaii and got all shy while fangirling, trying to work the courage up to introduce myself. Wow, that's cute, Donna. I didn't know that. Sweet. That story. Donna, those were good times doing that show. I wish I could do that again. I think this is pretty. So these are sapphires that are a little bit brown. Put that on there. The moonstone would be good. Chocolate moonstone would be real pretty. With almost every stone. Moonstone goes with so much. I would agree with that. So look at this. Kyanite and this brown sapphire. Let's do that. I think that looks good. And that's part of this lot. But I kept for myself the ones that were not the colorful ones for some reason. I was trying to be nice. Although, if you saw my bead collection, you'd be like, well, you can spare it. All right. This one, briolets are, for me, one of the harder ones to to do. So what I usually do, so I don't break the tip off, because I have done this at different times. Not as likely with sapphire, but like something soft, like an opal. That's why I don't get a lot of opal briolets. So what I usually do is bend it like this and do a soft. So once I get the bend, I use my fingers and I'll do a soft bend. See, the sapphire isn't even in the equation. I'm just making the bend. So there, it's not even in there. And then move it down gently. That's just me being paranoid. And then I'll do one of these. So as soon as it's kind of like a U shape, sometimes this can be a lot of waste though, as far as your wire goes. If you do it too, if you're premature with your bend, which sometimes I am a little tiny bit, bend it gently. There's probably like 15 different ways to do this in an easier way. This is just how I do it. All right, so I get these bent nose pliers so I don't accidentally go too close. And so what I'm doing is I'm very gently bending the wire, but I'm trying to not bend it so that the edge gets like puts pressure on the tip. You don't want that. So to do that, I will bend it gently with it. I'm holding it and supporting it, bending a little bit over, bending it. There's probably so many other ways to do this to get that kind of shape. I'm being overly cautious. Down. Harry Lynn says that's pretty. That's a good combo. I would agree with that. Let me see if I have another pair. All my pliers went downstairs. It's like whenever I'm working, I have to have every set of pliers. Yeah, sorry, I go like silent mode when I'm showing this because this to me, like when I'm doing wire work, I go into hyper focus and I like to make really perfect wraps. So that's why it's always embarrassing for me. Like I'm like, oh, but the reason I'm having a hard time right now is because I'm trying to look through my optivisors from a little bit of a distance and also watch to see if there's anything happening. Let's see, where's also looking for it. And these are also usually really close to my face. So with all those excuses for why this isn't perfect.
It's okay.
Well, sometimes this part to me is like it's hard to get it perfect. Well, it's not after you've done a few. I'm gonna just trim this out extra. I'm not gonna try and get that. And right next to my nose. That's easier when it's right up against my face. But that's probably true of everybody. You can really see it. My goal is to get it where the loop is round. That's what I like. And so I'll practice a few. I didn't practice a few before I started today, of course. Because that would have been the way to do it. But I feel like even if I did practice, I'd still kind of make a little bit of a mess. Wait, I gotta put it on now. And one other thing I like to do occasionally is make a big loop, make the loops kind of big. And what that does is gives you a little bit of a lacy look. The only drawback of that is that it goes to the side a little bit. But to counteract that, if it goes to one side, is wiggle it into place, like I did just there, and then pinch it just so slightly so it doesn't wiggle again. Although and flattening it will keep it in one spot too. If you do this, if you flatten on either side, just a hair. You see how that kind of makes it like faceted a little bit? So that also it won't climb. Sometimes you want it to though, like these earrings I was showing you earlier. Sometimes they do have a little bit of a like they're on its side, and it's okay. That's how it goes. I made a big hoop on this side too. It's okay. Actually, I was gonna say, let me put one of these guys in. Really pretty. Sure, a gemstone would have been good. A little tiny gemstone, something. You know, that would have been a good spot for that blue kyanite. We'll do the next one. No, I'll do it right now. So indecisive. These dark kyanite ones are hard to see the hole, but fortunately they're the good sized hole. So that's cute. Look how cute that is. Oh, Azalea. Shuri says, hello, Cynthia and Azalea. No notice today. Well, I was working a show. Little daughter was working at home. Oh, you weren't working. You were having fun.
What minutes?
Like usually you're like, what time will go? You know, like
I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, we always go at 7. So.
you make your stream.
Oh, well, I mean, it's the same time of the week, so. I figured that would have very little to do with it whenever I made the stream.
Hmm.
Would have little to do because it was being over the time.
Yeah, sometimes people with a reminder. Pinch that one down. So much extra. I didn't need that much. But really, oh, hold on. Okay. So that's a dainty little combo. So we have it's a very delicate. This reminds me of my old work when I would make a lot of dainty things. So this has a little sapphire. You have a little bit of a blue kyanite and the orange. And what I like about this is that if I wanted to, I could go in and put more on this loop here. Let's see what else we have. I feel like there's something sharp. I can feel it. So I don't know about everybody else, but if I feel something sharp, I like to go in and push down any of the little tiny areas that might have escaped. Just go in and tighten them up. Okay, there's one. My friend Diane, she makes pieces that are, how do you say it, like asymmetrical. She will do 2 different types. And I like that. That's like this earring here. I think that there's 2 different. I did a little bit of a mix and match. So on this one, you can see they're in the same family. They're the same beads, but they go together. So that's if you're doing an asymmetrical or a match, but not matchy, if that makes sense. You see what I've done here? Where this is kind of in the similar, but I've raised this to the bottom or added that to the bottom, whereas it's here. So it's similar beads, but just the combination is different. So you get kind of an unusual look. Well, I don't know about unusual, but just a different look. So in that way, I could say, maybe I want to change it up a little bit or go in with a different color. And I really like making earrings like that. So I might do that again with this one. And maybe I'll find something over here that is, I love these, but that's probably too big. A little bit. Something like, nope. And you know what? Why it takes me a long time is because I feel like making a match, but not a full match. And sometimes it can be time consuming. Like look at this with this little party colored double color watermelon tourmaline. Maybe that'll get in. And maybe I'll do it as a dangle on this side. Or I could do, yeah, I forgot I bought those. Those are good times. Look at that. Forgot completely about them. They're so sweet, but I don't know what it is, but these are always so expensive. These guys. I want to find them, but I want to find them where they're not a fortune. Because they're like a slice. And I use them in earrings because they look really good. From a distance, you can still see them. Oh, this would be pretty. Now this is in the same color family, so I could do that little blue one, and it would still be giving me that same vibe. So I'm going to switch the location. It'd be nice about a bigger blue. Usually I organize my beads by color. I'll have trays of them. So I have this little, that's a sapphire. What I think I'll do is like this. I think it'll match, even though they're different. Let's see. Well, and if it's wrong, then you know what? I can cut it up. No big deal. Did you all have a good weekend? I had a pretty good weekend. Even though I pretty much worked solid, it was still a good weekend. Let's see how fast I can do this. Sometimes after I've been doing it a minute, I speed up. And I think that's true of most things. Like after you've done a few of them, then you can kind of it's like the muscle memory in your hands is like activated. Rose. Yeah, I'm happy with how these little silver. I mean, I know you can use glass seed beads, of course, but I think they add a lot to a design, like that finishing touch. And now I'm moving with
We've been
speed.
going for an hour.
I know, but I didn't finish these. I want to finish at least one pair of earrings
Well, it's
in
real
1
hot up
hour.
here.
I know.
It's been an
I'm
hour and
working.
17.
Listen, I've got it. I'm doing it. Azalea's ready to go downstairs. I get it. It's super hot here, y'all. So now you can see I'm working like the wind.
My computer's also very hot. Like it's overheating.
Just okay. I'm almost done.
This cat has his back legs stretched out and his body flat on the floor.
He's warm. He's warm. I'm warm. He's covered in fur. That's true.
Thick fur. He's ready for his
Oh, what I do? So this is an example of. See, I broke that. I did one twist too many, and I should have known that if you do that, you can break it. So anyway, that's what happens if you take the half hard and you unfortunately bend too many times. Then if you do that, it will break and become brittle. So don't do that. Although I do it. You know, sometimes I'll do it once or twice, and then I won't do it again. So I did. I showed all these locks. So you don't have to worry. Zoe was getting scared. Getting real scared. Wondering what's happening. All right, my friends. We're getting there.
Thank you guys for tuning in tonight.
Yes, it's
We
most
were not so
appreciated.
organized today because Mom was working all day long. We got home just like an hour before it was time to go on.
You would not believe how fast I tore that booth down. I was like the wind.
Nice.
And Joanne was laughing because she was like, she had 3 people at one point, her daughter and her husband, and it was me over in the room, and I was flying, packing things up. I don't want to say I was packing up early because I wasn't. I mean, I was hiding behind the booth until it was time to call it. And boy, I rushed. And good thing it wasn't very far away. This is basically looking the same because I'm doing the same right now. But I will in a second show what it's going to look like with asymmetrical, and I think that's totally good. Man, I got myself twice in one day. I hate it when I do that. You ever do that where you're like, you think you've got that end down, and instead you poke yourself like really hard with a needle? I think it's so sharp. Wow, I'm gonna put something on that. I'm gonna put that blue right here at the top. Can't believe I did that twice. And I kind of knew better, you know. Sometimes you're like, no, I'm not going to do that, but then you do it again, and then it works. Kate and I were talking about that. Like sometimes you injure yourself, and then, like she was telling how she poked herself, had like a cut, and had to keep going during filming with the craft. Was it Craftsy video? We were filming at the same time. I did a video in where is it? Fort Collins. Good times. And I was also shooting at the same time as that very famous knitter, Stephen West.
Nice.
And I was making kind of a lot of mistakes. And the mistake is when you say a bad word, they don't like it because it's supposed to be streaming to multi-ages. And so they'd say a bad word. I wasn't as, now I am well versed in not saying anything bad. My mom hates it, I say bad words. So I've been training myself not to do it. I think that looks good. Oh, how do y'all feel about what is it? Asymmetrical? That cat knows. He jumped up right behind me. He's like, let's do this, Mom. I tell you, this kind of wire, even though it's really good and easy to work with, if you poke yourself, it's like a needle. So you have to be careful. Saw me just do it just now. And it doesn't feel great. All right, let's see how that looks so far. And then one itty bitty blue one at the end should be cute. What do you think about that? Darling. Although I kind of want a little blue sapphire to be at the end, so we'll see if I can find something that will go. I didn't have any more of the blue ones left. I put them all in the lots. Maybe a blue night would be pretty, but I feel like I want a dark blue. All right. Okay, I can keep fooling with this till the end of time, I think. But here's the pair as it stands. Right there. How do you guys like it? Does it seem good?
Yeah.
Right, Azalea, flip that camera for me. Oh, I meant to ask Connie if Connie's still on there. If no, we didn't. We did the brewery over at Turgua.
That cat's gonna eat it right now.
Well, you're supposed to be showing your beauty, Marty. Oh, he put his paw on it. Where do you put your paw on? Look at his big head.
So,
Wow. He's like, Ma, stop touching me. Stop touching me. Stop touching. He will clutch it. See how he clutches it? It's not even anything in there. He's still like, look how he's doing his he's clutching it with his paw.
his hand is so big.
He's really making sure that he's got it all together.
Yeah, he's not gonna miss a moment.
He is not going to miss any of it. All right, let's see. Let's put these on. All right, so these are really dainty, and I'm going to add the last blue to it. All right, my friends, what do you think? That look good? Orange kyanite, blue kyanite, sapphire. And this side, I still need to put a blue sapphire of some type. Not bad. Bad. All right, my friends, thank you for joining us today. I had fun showing you some of my earring collection and my methods of making earrings. And what else did we do? What else did we do? We talked about gemstones. So, and Hill Tribe. We talked about Hill Tribe. So if you're watching this on replay, you can email.
I'd be surprised if there's anything left.
Azalea says there might not be anything left. There might be a little bit left, but if you're interested, we don't do a deep stock of anything. So just send me an email and I'll let you know what's available. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me.